luxury contract today. We have Little Pop, which is like a popsicle vendor.
Well, welcome, and welcome again. Welcome to Websites for Anything, and welcome to the Business Owner Success Series, or BOSS. Before we start, please take a second to take out your cell phones and put them on silent or vibrate. BOSS is a special series of presentations designed specifically to provide Fredericksburg area small business owners with practical, actionable advice. We bring in local experts to share guidelines and tips and answer specific questions to help us all improve our businesses. My name is Josh Walton, and I'm the president here at Websites for Anything. And here at Websites for Anything, our passion is helping micro businesses improve and grow. So we created the BOSS series as one way to do that, a way to help our fellow local business owners with their businesses. We also do that digitally through designing, building, hosting, and supporting your websites. We'd also like to thank today's sponsor, Minuteman Press of Fredericksburg.
Yay!
Minuteman Press shares our passion for helping small businesses make a great impression, but rather than doing it digitally, they do it through paper tools like business cards, flyers, banners, and more. And they are located right down the street from us on Courthouse Road. Today's topic is micro-marketing, step 1, and it's being presented by Radke. As the owner of More Prospects Now, a digital marketing firm, Art Radke has several decades of experience in the business networking and marketing space. Additionally, his business leadership profile includes owner-director of the largest region of BNI, which is an international networking organization, as a business consultant, and he is also a business partner in several other business ventures. So please join me in welcoming our speaker today, Art Radke.
Thank you. So just to set the ground rules here, okay? If I say something that you want clarified, interrupt right then, okay? Because my experience, and we're talking about my limited ability to remember, if I have to wait till the end, I don't remember. And if I do remember, the speaker doesn't remember, and certainly no one else does, okay? So that's the first thing. Second thing is that we don't have answers. We have ideas, we have things that we've tried and have worked, but the real quest to success is not having the answers. That sounds counterintuitive, but when people have the answers, they stop learning, okay? It is hilarious. I grew up racing sailboats. And one of the things that I learned very quickly is that if you went around and asked the people you were racing against if they knew how to race, the closer the top you got, the more likely you would get a no. The lower you were in the results, the more likely you were to get a yes, which is kind of interesting. So one of the so that's one of the things we hope we take away today, that if you think you have the answers, worry. All right? I'm serious. Does that make sense? That if you think you have the answers, you stop learning. And how quickly does the world change? Right? Pretty quickly. So even if you had the answer, you probably don't have the answer tomorrow. Okay. So micro businesses. What is a micro business? Okay. Anyone have an idea? It's one of those terms that we throw around. What do you think a micro business is?
A business with 10 or less employees.
Wow, we're going to give a 5. Okay, that is exactly right. It is funny how we throw around terms. When I say small business, most people think of 1, 2, and 3 person companies. A small business doesn't even begin, according to the Small Business Administration, until the 11th employee. Okay, micro businesses are smaller than that. And micro businesses are special items, okay? And what's special about them is, number one, they've got to, they're the proverbial one-armed, paper hanger. They have to get everything done without any resource to get it done, right? And also, virtually every micro business is really run by one person. If they have employees, the employees almost always only responsibility is to help the one person actually do their job. All right, it's not until we get to small businesses where we begin to have someone who actually is in charge of an area that's not the owner. Okay, does that make sense? So here's the thing about micro businesses. Micro businesses most likely are to be what in 5 years?
Out of business.
Out of business?
Yeah.
People agree with that? All right, yeah. And actually that number is a nuanced number. 80% of the businesses are no longer in existence. That doesn't mean they failed. Some of them were bought. Some of them was a retirement business where they planned to just, that. So the number actually is an interesting number. It is accurate. It's 80% of the businesses will not be in existence in 5 years. Doesn't necessarily mean they failed, but the vast majority did fail. If they survive, what are they most likely to be? A micro business. Very few micro businesses stop being a micro business. Very few. And here's the reason, and I'm going to state this as fact. You can disagree, by the way, but I'm stating it as fact. And that is because a micro business can never get enough traction to grow enough to add employees, because it's a lot to add an employee. For a 1,000-person company to add an employee, there's 1,000 people to carry the expense of that one new employee. For a micro business to add an employee, they've got to pull off a miracle, because they got 2 employees. Those 2 employees have to be able to carry the salary of the 3rd employee until that 3rd employee becomes profitable. It really is miraculous. It is easy to get from 10 to 20 in comparison from 1 to 10. All right. So here's this. So now, if that's the problem, here's the secret to that. The secret is having enough business show up without you having to put your time into bringing in business. If you have to spend all your time bringing in business, you never have time to do business. All right. I've got a few heads nodding. Okay. Just out of it, how many people are experiencing that now? That every time you bring in business, you have to stop marketing to some level. Okay, to some level, that you have to at least scale it back a little bit, okay? So here's the real secret, which is what we're going to talk today about. How do we get to the point that the business comes in with a minimal or zero amount of time spent on our part? All right, does that sound good? Mm-hmm. Okay. I look into some faces, some people are skeptical, but like the concept. Okay. So first of all, the number one issue, the business consultant, Toby Keith. How many people have heard the business consultant, Toby Keith? Have you never heard of Toby Keith?
He specialized in
The singer. Well, I thought he was a business consultant, and here is giving his most famous business advice. How many people are familiar with this song? Okay, what's the story of the song? Well, it's actually
Not about me.
It's not about me. It's actually the song, right? Poor Toby is with people that keep talking about themselves, so he doesn't get to talk about himself. How many of our businesses are like that? That we're so busy talking about ourselves that the other person never gets to talk about themselves. And I'll just give you an example. Think of your website right now. What does your website talk about? I'm sorry?
Your business.
Your business. What does the person coming to your website want to talk about? They want to talk about their challenges, their needs, the solutions they're looking for. Right away, we're off base. Our whole conversation is about me, the owner of the website, not about you, the visitor to the website. It makes a huge difference, okay? Makes an absolutely huge difference. And if we can solve that problem, if we can change the conversation to talking about our prospects rather than talking about us, we'll have all the business we need. Now, let me just give you a couple of quick examples. We did this with a kitchen and bath remodeler down in Chesapeake, Virginia. 90 days later, we literally get a frantic phone call. Stop the leaves. We can't keep up with them. Stop them. Okay? How many people want that problem? Okay? Another thing, we had a roofing company opened up January 15th up in Woodbridge, okay? They're on track this year. Remember, it opened January 15th. They're on track this year to hit $3 million. Okay, they've gone from 1 salesperson to 8 salespeople and are looking to hire more salespeople. All right. And then just for the fun of it, I took what I was teaching today and did it yesterday. Just kind of, you know, test it. Send out an email, all right, to 1,800 people. They don't know me. It was a relatively cold list. We've emailed it once or twice before over the last year. And we have 3 sales appointments scheduled and 8 people that have opened up 4 emails from us in the last 24 hours. Okay, all because we didn't talk about ourselves. We didn't talk about the kitchen remodeler, we didn't talk about the roofer, and we didn't talk about digital marketing. We talked about what the client was interested in. Okay, it is a game changer. All right, so how do we do this? Here's the thing. We think we know who our clients are, okay? Because we have a general idea, all right? But how much time have we actually done trying to figure out who our clients are and how to build a relationship with them? I'm going to guess very little, all right? That we spend a lot of time about how we're going to tell them about us. I mean, whenever I talk to a business about their digital marketing, they always start off with what they want to make sure the prospects know about them. Does that sound about right? All right. And yet, and I often might be politically incorrect, so if it is, I apologize. But if you're single and dating, what is the thing that's going to make people want to have a second date on both sides? Come on.
A good first date?
What makes a good first date?
Have fun. Communication.
Communication. Okay. Getting to know them, getting to know you, right? If you know something about them beforehand, does that help the first date? It does, right? And there are certain sequences that we need to go through. Okay, so as an example, our first date. What about a week in Paris?
That could work.
We laugh. We laugh. What would the odds be that she'd ever do a week in Paris with somebody she didn't know? Think about it.
Well,
Right? You know her? Okay. Okay. There's a sequence to a relationship building. So what we're going to hand around here, we'll just, if you want to just take, why don't we split them? Just hand these out. Shoot. There, go take it. Take it away. We've divided an 8-step process. By the way, this is the framework of what we're going to talk about. This is not the subject, but it's the framework. Okay? And I'm just going to get started. The first thing is you have to be aware that someone exists. You cannot do business with somebody who you don't know exists. Is that fair enough? Yep. It's kind of like you walk into a Starbucks and you look across and you see somebody that you're kind of interested in. Wow, they look interesting. They're dressed, you know, if you're my daughter, she's looking and going, oh, they're kind of preppy. That's good. Okay. It's just her. Is preppy good? Is it good? It's irrelevant. It's good for her. Right? That's what matters. All right? Because it's all individual. Once we have awareness, we need to engage. So, how do you engage at Starbucks? You see the person sitting, hey, can I join you? Right? Whatever. Something. Then you have to subscribe. What do we call it when we subscribe in a dating relationship? We call it getting the numbers, right? Yeah. Right. That way we can continue communicating. Then we have to convert, and the convert is where we actually do something on purpose. So it might be a lunch, get together for lunch. Why is getting together for lunch so popular? Yeah, and you have an escape route. If the guy or gal or whoever isn't quite as interesting as they looked, oh, I have to get back to work. By the way, Josh, I gotta get back to work. See you. Okay. Then we go to the excite. If that lunch date's kind of stimulating, if we find out that, you know, wow, they sailed in college. Okay, my daughter got fourth in the college nationals. Do you think if she found out that the person she's with at that lunch date sailed in college, do you think that will interest her? Absolutely. All right. The funny thing though is a lot of other things can interest the person. Okay, but it has to be something. And if we know what it is beforehand, we can make sure the conversation gets around to that. Then once we get the excitement, now we're ready for the dinner date. We go to the dinner date, and then we get over to this column, which we call the ascension. Okay, where we're now serious about figuring out where this is going, and we go from the dinner date to maybe the night out, you know, dancing or whatever, to maybe a weekend away, and then we go to the advocate, okay, which might be where we start being serious. We're in a committed relationship. By the way, does anyone know what that term really means? I've always tried to figure out what it, I mean, if you have to decide it's a committed relationship, is it a committed relationship? I don't know. All right. And then the last one is to promote. That's where we end up maybe getting married or committing for the rest of our lives, or however that is done within your value system. Okay? I'm going to maintain that business is the exact same. Okay, and what do most businesses do on the during by the way, I have my glasses because I'm a man of a certain age. Engage. What do we normally do at the engaged point as a business? We usually propose. That is exactly right. Is it not? Okay. You do want to do business with me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How many people, be brave, must admit they might err a little bit towards that side? Okay? It's interesting. Now, what happens, okay, again, sorry if this is not politically correct, but what do we call it if we skip one of these stages? Awkward. What?
It'd be awkward, but it'd be a shortcut.
But it would be
You're
awkward.
wrong. Yep.
What do we call it if we skip two of the steps? Assault. Right? It doesn't matter what kind of relationship. Every relationship, if we skip a step, it's very awkward. If we skip two steps, it's assault. Now, how fast can you go through the steps? It depends. You can do it, you can go, I mean, people have gone through the whole sequence in a weekend, and others have taken 5 years. It depends on how things are going. All right? But each of those steps have to be gone through. All right? Now, if we're going to get through those steps correctly in the business setting, we have to make sure that we know. See, here's the difference. How many significant relationships do you want? Okay, everyone who wants one significant relationship, raise your hand. Okay, this is going to get interesting. How many people want 2 to 10 significant relationships at the same time? Raise your hand. Well, okay, we've got to have a lot of 10 or over because we haven't had many hands for the first. I'm going to say in our personal lives, usually we want one significant relationship. In business, though, how many significant relationships do we want? A lot, right? Which is fine. It's a different type of relationship. Now we're going to see. I don't know who that guy was in the back. Do you think he's going to jump up again as I start handing these out? Oh, you were beaten.
Thank you, Nancy.
Oh, I need one. Sorry. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out, and everybody knows to do this, by the way. This is one of those things. I tell you, when I give this talk, it frustrates me because I'm telling everybody stuff they already know, but they're not doing. And they think the magic is in knowing. And guess what? There is no magic in knowing. The magic is in the doing. Okay? So in this, we have an avatar, you may have heard it called a persona, but who is it that you're really trying to market to? All right? Because if we get this right, we then can talk to them in terms that are interesting to them. All right? So what happens when you get the persona right? Just give you a couple of examples. My roofing guy, okay, gets a phone call from the sheriff. How many people want to call from the sheriff? Okay. This time I believe people. Before everyone kept their hands down, and I didn't. But let me tell you what the call was. The call was, this is the actual call. Hello, I'm sitting outside of a house that I'm serving papers at, and your sign is in the front yard and you're doing their roof. I'd like you to come and do my roof, by the way. I agree with you. I get your message. Literally, he goes, I get your message, and I'm in. I'm not going to talk to anyone else. Just come, give me a quote, okay? What had the business successfully done with that sign? Communicate the message in a way that the other person knew this is the right company for me, okay? So that's the type of thing that happens when you get the message right. I'll give you another one, okay? A design build company up in Maryland gets a phone call from a gentleman out in California. And he literally says, and I say literally because I don't believe this stuff. I grill my customers, they really say that? It's like, yeah, he said, look, I'm in California, my parents are about 10 miles away from you. I've spent the last 48 hours going over every design build website. And I want you to do my parents' renovation so they can live in their house for another 10 years. Okay? And they said, why? And they said, because you understand them. I gotta ask, did they know him? No, they didn't know him. But the guy in California can do it. That's what happens when we get the messaging right. And we can't get the messaging right if we don't get the person right. Okay? Now, as I was telling Josh, we had to get going because this literally, whenever I sign on a new client, the first thing we do is an 8-hour workshop that's on this subject. Okay? Because I can't do the job for them. You know, I can't do the job for them if we haven't figured this out. Okay? So obviously we're not going to do an 8-hour workshop today. Okay? You wanted that, right? You wanted 8 hours. You were booked, right? Okay. But we start off with really analyzing who they are. And by the way, how many personas does your business need?
One.
Okay, how many types of clients do you have?
Oh, many.
Okay, you need a persona for each significant group of people that do business with you. Right? So you might end up with 10 personas. You might end up with 5 personas. You might end up with 1 persona. It doesn't really matter how many personas, as long as you have a persona for every single group of people that you want to do business with. All right? So, let's just go through this for a second. Oh, and by the way, as I said, I tested this and yesterday just to see what kind of results we'd get. All right? So what I'm going to do is, for example, sake, just walk you through how I filled this out for the group of people. And it was a specific group of people, by the way, that I sent this to. It couldn't be, see, we always want to market to everybody. All right? Here's the thing, though. Someone cannot say yes to you if they don't have enough information to say no to you. We always want to write things in a way that nobody can say no. But if nobody can say no, they also cannot say yes. Right? Because you've not divulged enough of yourself for them to be able to say yes or no. Okay? And so it's important that when you're speaking to a group of people, that you know what group it is, for you can be addressing their issues. So the group of people that I was going after was home builders and contractors, people that, okay, that work on houses. So their goal, so you know what kind of people they are. What do you think their goal is?
More sales.
Yeah, for businesses that ends up a lot. But I'm gonna say, you know, a lot of these people are design build or upper end type contractors. So not only do they want more sales, but they want sales to people who understand quality, right? Because what if I get them a lot of leads for people that are looking for the lowest price?
It's not their ideal client.
Actually, in fairness, I hurt them.
Yeah.
Right? Why do I hurt them?
Time, waste of time.
Yeah, they're wasted time, right? So it's not, see, this is where we have to dig deeper. Their goal isn't just more sales, but it's this very specific type of sale, right? A sale to someone who understands the value of quality. You notice I didn't say they wanted the best price. I said they wanted the lowest price, right? Are those two the same thing? Okay. Okay, what other goals do they have?
I have a question.
I
So
have
I've met
asked this to
contractors
match.
a million times, and I've known personally some contractors, and
We will not hold
they
that
get,
against you.
yeah, true. Well, when they've gone into, let's say a very educated home where the husband's military, alpha, type A personality, and is very aggressive, grandma in the other room, so there's a lot going on. This poor contractor who's just trying to make a living, and this person goes, you know, you're gonna do it for this price, and if you want the job, you have to take this price. And a lot of these small contractors will do it, but then they beat them up, abuse them, you know, the job winds up to be a nightmare. So what do you tell that
Okay,
contractor about that person?
okay. First of all, nobody's has any tomatoes, do they? Okay. It's their fault, it's the contractor's
Oh,
fault.
I totally agree, but that
Okay.
homeowner.
What does but
still
mean, by
has
the
to
way?
get-
Does anyone know the definition of but? Yeah, what do you think the definition of but is?
Everything else you did before doesn't matter.
That's right.
That's true,
That's what but means. There is no but.
yeah.
It's their fault because they took a client who was not a good fit for them. Now, here's the challenge. Why did they take that client? I don't think it's because they needed them. Okay? I think it's because they didn't know what a good client for them was. And that's why they needed them.
Right, exactly.
Okay, if they knew who a good client. So as an example, has anyone been to Josh's website?
Yeah.
Okay. If you want to know what price he charges, how do you figure that out? I'm sorry?
It's there.
It's there. Josh, you put your price on your website?
Yes.
That's crazy, isn't it?
No.
No, because what does that do?
Reads out the-
You're not sitting with that person, okay? Because they've figured out, oh, this isn't the guy I'm doing business with. I'd rather have them figure that out before I show up than after I show up, okay? And we'll get to that concept in a few minutes because it's how to execute it. But those are the goals, and as I say, we usually can end up with 7 or 8 goals. This is a really in-depth proposition. See, we say, oh, we know who are, well, I'll pick on you, but you said, you know, I asked who do you work with? We met at Starbucks, by the way. We had a planned meeting that which we didn't know was going to happen. I walked in, I think it was on Saturday, last Saturday. But you said nonprofits, which was fine. I mean, this was a casual conversation at Starbucks. He had his laptop and he had his wrap on the laptop, so I saw what he did. And I said, hey, you know, we haven't met and stuff, okay? But here's the thing, do we do business with nonprofits? See, I don't think we want to. I'm absolutely against doing business with nonprofits. I am, okay? I'm all for doing business for nonprofits that are committed to their goal and are willing to make business type decisions to move towards that goal. I'll do business with those nonprofits. You see what I'm saying? Because again, any group, do you do business with contractors? I don't do business with contractors. I do business with contractors that do quality work and want to grow their business by 10 to 25% per year or more. I've got to tell you, it's a waste of their time and money and a waste of my time to have a contractor who's not looking to grow significantly to talk with me, because we tend to put in aggressive marketing plans. That's what we do. Is it the only type of marketing plan? No, you can put in a really good average marketing plan that will grow you at 3 to 5% a year, which is fine, by the way. This is not a value judgment. But I'll guarantee you, I'm going to go nuts. My staff are going to go nuts working with a company that wants to grow at 3% a year. That's just not what we do. Okay? So we have to be, the more specific we are, in other words, when he said nonprofit as an example, you can smack me with it, okay? But it doesn't leave me anyone to refer him because I have no idea what kind, right? And that's why knowing who, not just in general terms, but knowing specifically who we do business with, allows for people to identify who a good fit would be. Josh, it looks like you're thinking something. No, not me, I'm not thinking.
No, I'm doing it.
Okay. Does that make sense to people? So guess what we tell people right up front? We're looking for companies to work with that are looking to grow their business at a minimum of 10 to 20% per year. All right? There are a lot of companies that don't want to do that. No, there really are. I mean, because what happens when you let's say you have 10 employees and you're adding and you have to grow at 10 to 20% a year. What do you have to do? What? You need to hire people. Okay? And what is the biggest headache most small business owners have? Employees, right? And I'll tell you, a lot just don't want any more of that problem. They do marketing with the purpose of staying the same size. There's a whole lot, and there's nothing wrong with that. If your business is to the size where you can support yourself and your family and your employees and their families, and you have a good life, why is there anything wrong with not wanting to grow? It's just not a good fit for my company. Does that make sense? So this is where we really, it's not general, these are not general answers. These are very, very specific answers. Okay, so you know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for contractors that give quality business, do quality service. Okay, why do I want one that does quality service, by the way? It's very selfish on my part. And I really don't care about their clients.
You're paying for it.
What?
You're paying for it.
That's not why I care. That's good, by the way.
You want to look good.
Yeah, I want to look good, and I want to be able to do the job, both, okay? Okay, Josh, you deal in the digital world. What's your number one problem in getting a site done?
Well, the honest answer?
How many people want him to lie? Raise your hand if you want him to lie. Okay,
The number one challenge to getting it done is getting content from the client.
right. So a company that does a great job for their clients and is a quality company, guess what they have put together? Their act. They have their act together. So guess what I get when I need it? The items I need. Okay? It makes my job easy to be working with high quality companies because it's very unusual for a company to be a high quality company in one area and a low quality company in another area. Companies that can't get the job done tend to not be able to get the job done. Doesn't matter what area. Does that make sense? And so I work with associations. I work with associations that you have to apply to get into, that you have to have everything checked to make sure that, now I work with some other people that are not in associations, but the people I market to are in associations that have high standards that are trying to raise the quality of work within their industry. Because they tend to attract companies that want to raise the quality of their work. Okay? They also get what kind of reviews traditionally? Pretty good reviews. Josh, how much easier is my job if they're getting good reviews?
For sure, a lot easier.
A lot easier, okay? So these are very specific things that I'm looking for. Could you make a good living by going with people that didn't want to grow, who just wanted to stay the same and did okay jobs? You could do a great business. No, I'm serious. If you don't believe me, go and check out GoDaddy. I'm serious. That's who GoDaddy deals with, right? You can do a great business. Here's one of the things that's great about that business. How often am I being pressured to get results for my clients? All the time, because I've recruited people that want to grow their business aggressively. For someone who just wants to maintain the same, how often are they pushing Not much at all. So you have very good retention and you don't have to kill yourself to do it, okay? This is not value judgments. I just want to, people always kind of want to make good and bad. These are not value judgments. But you better know what your business is, and you better know what your business is equipped to do. And then you better recruit clients that need that, all right? What's the values of the people that I'm looking for?
Integrity?
What?
Integrity?
Integrity. Their word is their bond. Right? I told you that, right? You do what you say when you say you're going to do it. If you're on time, you're late. I mean, it's a joke with most of my clients. When I have a meeting scheduled with them, I'll show up like 5 minutes early, and they're like, "Whoa! I almost thought you were going to be late." Okay? And what do they mean when they say, "I almost thought you're going to be late"? They mean, I thought you were going to show up on time. Because we talk about it. We talk about values, and it's a big joke. I showed up with the roofer. Last week, 2 weeks ago, I had a meeting with him. It was 7 o'clock in the morning. He ran in at 6:59 and apologized for being late. Okay? Those are the people I want to work with, except it comes with a price. Okay? Because the price is, I've got to be on time. I've got to follow through. If I say it's going to be done on such and such a date, it has to be done on that day. Okay? And again, is it okay to work with someone who's 3 days late? Absolutely, as long as your business plan is designed around working with companies that are 3 days late. I'm being absolutely serious, okay? These are not value judgments. You have to decide what the business is that you're going to run, okay? All right, so we notice you have the age and everything in here. We're not going to go through that, but you really want to pinpoint that because that tells us what kind of messaging to do and stuff. How I'm going to message to a 35-year-old woman is different than how I'm going to message to a 55-year-old man. Okay? Which one's right, by the way? There is no right. I mean, there really isn't. You can be wrong on your messaging to a specific person, but which one's messaging is not right or wrong. Okay? People agreeing with me on, did you have a question, Josh?
I just wanted to add, having gone through this with you before, that the one of these will be really important to you more than the others, I think. Like age and number of children is easy to gloss over, but with some businesses it's critical. It tells you so much about the avatar you're building.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden you realize that their goals are actually centered around their children.
Yeah.
Because they're children of a certain age. Now, for some people, it won't matter, but I just wanted to say that column is easy to skip or gloss over.
Yeah.
But the more specific you can be with that column, the easier the other ones become.
So if a kitchen and bath company is selling kitchen renovations, what do they have a picture of?
Somebody who uses the kitchen.
No, that's not normal. A company that is kitchen and bath, what is the picture of usually?
Oh, bathroom.
Bathroom or kitchen?
The family.
Family.
No, it's almost never. I absolutely guarantee you. You go, Josh. You've seen a lot of kitchen and bath remodelers.
What is it, or what is it typically, or what should it
What
be?
is it typically?
It's a picture of a kitchen or a bath.
Right. That's what it normally is. Okay. The person in Chesapeake who called up and said, "Stop! I can't keep you." What was the picture on their website?
Family.
Yeah, it was the family. You couldn't even see the kitchen. Was it in the kitchen? Yeah, it was in the kitchen. But he sold to young families, to your point. Okay? And the whole talk about how to bring your family together and have dinner be a special time that they'll remember the rest of their life. That was the whole message. It wasn't how to have a great looking kitchen. Now, were they going to make a great looking kitchen? Sure. But that wasn't what we were selling. We were selling having family time and having a place that you wanted to have family time in. All right? I absolutely, seriously, go and take a look at kitchen and bath remodelers. It almost always is pictures of the finished product that they're showing. And yet, the person buying really doesn't care about the finished product. If that's all they cared about, they could hire 90% of the kitchen remodelers. Because almost every kitchen remodeler, except for the bottom 10%, can put a kitchen in. Does that make sense? All right. So that would be knowing the age. That would not have worked for people that were empty nesters. Okay? Would have had to be a different picture. Okay, then what are their challenges? What are they dealing with, okay? Now, again, we know with mine, what's the challenges that a kitchen remodel, let's pick a kitchen remodel, what challenges are they having? Okay, we'll see. How many people get at least one message a day selling them SEO services? Okay, right? At least one. People always say to me, hey, you're in the business, at least you don't get those. No, I get 20 a day trying to sell me white label SEO services. Josh, ring true?
Sounds about right.
Okay. Also, what has been their experience? Because have they ever hired someone to do their website or their SEO before? Usually? What do you think?
Yes.
Yeah, usually they have. And what's the results been usually?
They weren't on the first page of Google.
What?
They weren't on the first page of Google.
That's right. If they were lucky, they were on the third page. Okay? Little trivia, by the way, more people click on the first one on the second page than the 10th one on the first page. Just a little bit of trivia. Not enough in either case to make a difference, by the way. But, all right? So one of the challenges is that they're inundated with people trying to sell them services, and are they good at digital marketing? What are the odds are that they're good at digital marketing? Probably not. Okay? So they're having to make a decision. They're having to make a decision on something they don't know anything about. How many people like having to make a significant decision that can make a major impact in their life and know nothing about it? How many people is that their idea of fun? Okay? And that's what they're in. Okay? Okay. What's their sources of information? In my case, again, I'm going to run over this only for the interest of time. And Josh, I'm in trouble time-wise. But he knew that. All right. They get them from trade magazines, okay? They get it from business experts within the industry, and they get it from their associations. Does that make sense? Okay? And we've already gone over back to their challenges and pain points, also what their objections are, that they are really not educated in this, okay? So that's the avatar. It takes me about 3 hours to do an avatar. Okay, then I refine it every week after that. Josh, I know you're working on these. Does that sound about right? 3 hours to get a working model, and then you just keep improving it?
Yeah, it might be a little low for the first time.
Oh, yeah, for the first time. I'm talking about for now, with me having done this for a long time, it takes me a minimum of 3 hours to do it. Okay, so now that we have that information, we're going to do the before and after here. Okay. Yeah, before and after. Okay, because any type of advertising is always done in a before and after. Okay, it's your prospects before and your prospects after. All right. Has anyone seen the Northwestern Mutual ad where there's a guy out cutting his lawn and doing his whole yard, and it's hot and he's sweating, and his daughter comes running out and goes, Dad, can I go over to Susie's house? They're having a pool party. And he's like, here he is sweating away. Has anyone seen that ad? Oh, really? Usually people. It's a funny ad, because here's this poor guy trying to make the backyard gorgeous. And what does his daughter want to do? What does his 8-year-old daughter want to do?
Go somewhere else.
Go somewhere else. Okay? Really builds one's purpose in life, right? At which point you see him kind of like this, right? There's the before state, right? Everyone with me, before state. Okay, got it? All right. And then also he looks around, and the next thing you see, there's backhoes in the yard, and holes are being dug, and a pool's going in. Right? And the next thing you see, the pool is filled with like 15 8-year-old girls, and Dad is cannonballing all of them with a big grin. Before and after. All right? How many people have lived the before? We've all lived the before. Maybe not that before, but we've all lived the before, right? And how do you feel? We've all had the after at least once in our life, right? Which one do you prefer, the before or the after? Okay, so this is critical. We have to move. Money is, I'll tell you right now, nobody pays me for digital marketing. Nobody. I have 0 clients for digital marketing. Okay, the only thing people buy from me is transformation. They want to move from where they are now to someplace else. And I'm going to tell you, and I don't know what all of you people do, but I'm going to suggest if all they bought was whatever you're selling, then you're a commodity and you're going to not be able to make a living. They're paying to go from a before state to an after state at some level. Does that make sense? And if we can sell that transformation, if we can get them to understand the transformation we're offering them, okay, they're going to pay, and they're going to like paying. How many people know the Inc. 5000 list? Has anyone ever heard of the Inc. 5000 list? Okay, for those who don't know it, it's the 5,000 fastest growing companies in America. Inc. magazine is the #1 magazine for privately held companies, and they every year, okay, do the 5,000 fastest growing company. Guess what is a goal of every one of my clients? To be on the list. Was that all their goals before they signed up with me? No, but in the process, because I need them to have a vision of where they're going. Because if I'm not helping them transform, they can't get, they're going to look and go, are you kidding? You're charging $1,500 for something I can get for $100 from someone else? By the way, can they get digital marketing services for $100 a month? The answer is yes, absolutely. Can they get the transformation I'm talking about for $100 a month? Absolutely not. Okay, so if I leave this to be a conversation about digital marketing, I'm lost. If you leave it about your subject, you're lost. You've got to figure out how to help them transform from the before state to the after state. All right? Okay, so real quick, before state in my case, confused about digital marketing, not doing it well, and feeling like it's a waste of money. Does that sound like a pretty good description of digital marketing to most of you people? Not everybody. But I've got to tell you, if they're out there with a great company that's doing a great job for them, what are the odds are I'm going to pick them up as a client? Probably not, because I'm not going to have a transformation to give them. Now, maybe if at some point that company messes up and does a bad job, then I might. But at the point that they're going, wow, my digital marketing company's knocking the cover off the ball, wow, I'm growing faster than I want to, I'm happy to tell them to slow down. The odds are they're not going to say, I know the solution. I'm going to find another digital marketing company that charges me more and gets me less results. That will slow up my growth. Right? That's probably not going to be their thought process. Fair enough? So my prospects are going to not understand digital marketing, not understand how to pick a good company, and feel very frustrated about that whole experience. Right? What's their after state going to be? What do I want them to think it's going to be? That digital marketing is working, that we're getting all the clients we want, and we did it with minimum risk, right? So, now we know this. Now let's write the email that we send, okay? First of all, the subject line is special offer for members of such and such association only, okay? Because I told you I want to sell to a specific group of people, right? Then goes, are you frustrated with digital marketing? Are you in the business? Are you frustrated with digital marketing? Josh, are you frustrated with digital marketing?
Every day.
Every day, okay? Do you get bombarded by 10 offers a day? by people who claim they can solve your problem? Right? Do you not have a clue who you can trust? Are you tired of having to make a decision with the only thing that you really can expect is to fail? How many people does that ring true at some level when you talk about spending a significant amount of money on digital marketing? I mean, I think, okay, say, then we get it. Okay, the number one reason digital marketing fails is because either you hired the wrong company and you didn't have the knowledge to hire the right one, or you were a bad client. We say it right up front because it's the truth. Okay? The reason we're making this offer to only members of this association is because we know this association vets everyone they allow in, and they're all great companies. So we've solved the second problem. If you're a member of an association, what are you thinking right now? If you like that association. Right? Wow. Yeah, they're telling the truth on that one. So there's a good chance they're telling the truth on the first one, right? So look, we understand that you don't want to talk to another person about digital marketing, and you're tired of all the risk being yours. And so here's what we do. If you send us back an email and just says, I'm interested, that's all you have to do. We'll put together a report on your site and your digital footprint and what areas of opportunity there are and what you can expect to have happen and what the price of that will be. And we will not follow up after that. You decide at that point if you want to talk to us or not, right? Because what are we afraid of? The person's going to be calling us all day long, right? At that point, you're going to, get back to us if you're interested or not. And if you decide to go with us, at the end of the first month, if you're not happy with what's happening, we'll give you 100% of your money back. Okay, I'm tired of you having to take all the risk. I'm telling you that I have faith in my team. I'm willing to take the risk. Okay? See, I'm speaking to their before, I'm speaking to their after, okay? And I'm removing the perceived risk. Now, again, you're in the business. What do you have to do in the first 30 days for someone to say, I'm not ready to go in the next 30 days, and I want my money back?
To do a good job.
Yeah, it takes doing a bad job, I think, to have them do that.
Yeah.
Most people understand it's going to take time. The odds of having to give that refund, if the person comes and says, I want my money back now, they deserve to ask for their money back. I know the time. Josh is looking nervous. All right? Does that make sense? 3 people that I've sent reviews to and want to talk about becoming a client, another 8 that have opened up 4 emails in the last 24 hours from 1 email, okay? We literally cannot take all the prospects we have right now this month. We're now telling people they can go on the waiting list. And that's not because of how good we are at digital marketing. It's because we've sold them a transformation from a before state to an after state, speaking their language that we developed through the customer avatar. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have 60 seconds to do BFOs, as blinding flashes of the obvious. So I'm just going to say real quick, did anyone take anything away from today's talk, or was this a total waste of time? What did you take away?
Well, I just hired a digital marketing company, so now I want to analyze them better. So I can make sure that my end goal will be satisfied.
Okay. Here's what you do, and I'm absolutely serious about this. Ask them if they're familiar with this book. This book is an amazing book. They ask, you answer. It's the philosophy of how to make the digital world work. Here's the question. What question can you not get answered online? That's right, there isn't one. You can get any answer you want online. So your question isn't, we always want to have salespeople, we don't want to give people information until we're talking to them. What do they want?
Information.
Information before talking to you. You notice my whole thing was I gave them the complete proposal before they've ever had to talk to me, right? They asked, You Answer is a book written by Marcus Sheraton. He's a pool guy. He built a pool company from going out of business in 2008. Evidently something happened back in 2008, I don't know. Okay, to literally opening up a manufacturing plant because they had so many pools, they had people, okay? That's the Bible. All right, any other BFOs? And then I have to give the floor back to Josh. For some reason, maybe you can answer this. Does he think he has a right to come in? Any other BFO? Come on, come on. What's your one takeaway?
Everything. I was just really here seeking knowledge, and I don't know. It's also validating some of the things, especially with like building customer avatars, because I look for a lot of sponsors, so I have to like kind
It's
of
an
see
avatar.
what business exactly. So.
Sorry, Josh, it's all yours. Your clock's 2 minutes fast, by the way.
Sure it is.
Well, I had to give him back at 5 of, so.
Thank you, Art, for a great presentation. If you have any additional questions for Art, we'll be hanging out afterwards. My BFO is that I'm not doing my weekly revision. That's what I took away. So I have 2 avatars that are complete. They're never complete, right? And then I have 2 that are in progress, and I'm not doing my revisions. So thank you for that reminder. Big thank you to Nancy with Simple Joy Designs for today's lunch setup and design. If your home, your office, or your event needs an expert's touch, please get in touch with Nancy. Our next meeting for BOSS is on September 3rd, and Adam will be speaking on Tax Act impact, specifically discussing how the changes to the tax law last year affect micro businesses. That's what his expertise is in, so we'll be learning about that. Whoever is your best vendor or your closest business partner, your closest referral partner, BOSS is for them too. We'd love to have them join you for that meeting. I'm sure they can learn right alongside you. You can share notes afterwards, and you can even treat them to lunch, no problem. Just bring them here. And so that'll be on September 3rd. Look for more information on our Facebook page, and we'll see you soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.